Hey, what's up, everybody? Brian from USA.Patriot.Cards. And today I want to talk about my experience at the Dallas Card Show this past weekend, show you some of what I picked up, and maybe just talk a little bit about where I see this hobby being at the moment and possibly where it could be headed. I'm local to the Dallas Card Show, so I go to every one of them. Matter of fact, a friend of mine and we get rooms for Saturday night. So we show up first thing on Saturday. We stay all day, go get something to eat with some friends, come back for trade night. Usually stay till 2 in the morning, close the room down, and then we go get some sleep. Get right back up, get on the elevator, go downstairs, hit the floor, and do it all over again for Sunday. It's happens every other month. I honestly look forward to it like Christmas. I love it. It's always a great time. Some shows for me are busier than others. This show was probably one of the more it was one of the ones that I had more activity as far as trading goes than others. And let's start with why I think that is. So I try to limit the amount of money that I spend because I have so many cards that I can trade into other stuff. So I like to move that way. I will add cash here and there when I need to. But this show in particular was very good for trading into other cards. When I went, actually on this show I went on Friday afternoon. Went at noon. I had to pick up my son from school around 3, so I had a little chunk of time there. And I honestly didn't expect much to happen on that Friday afternoon. I just thought I'd walk the floor, talk to some people I knew, and check out the vibe for Saturday. But I actually took my cards just in case. Now, when I take my cards, I have 2 big, huge cases, 4 rows each case. So I'm hauling about, probably 100, 125 cards with me, all graded, mostly graded. I have some sealed cards in one touches. But I put them on a little dolly and I drag them with me. Just in case. You never know. You never know when you might see something, or you never know when you might run into somebody that's wanting to trade. And so I was glad that I did that on Friday, because I ran into a guy who had this gorgeous card here. This Luca Tiger Stripe Prism Rookie PSA 10. And I saw this in his case. I asked him how much he had on it, and he had 40K on it. So here I am with my dolly, my 2 cases strapped to the dolly or whatever, the little mini dolly that you can fold up. I said, well, hey, listen, would you have any interest in maybe looking at some of my stuff for a trade? And he, of course, not knowing anything about what I might have in my cases, he kind of said, I guess, sure. So I laid up my case on his showcase, and we got to talking, and he pulled out a lot of what he liked. He pulled out a lot. I'll show you 2 cards that he really wanted. So he really wanted these 2 cards. A Josh Allen Rookie Silver PSA 10 and a Blue Scope Josh Allen Rookie. Now, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Herbert, those quarterbacks, those top-tier quarterback Mahomes, were all hot at this show, okay? Matter of fact, what I ended up trading for this Luca was essentially mostly all quarterbacks. And I got into a situation where he saw these 2 cards and wanted, especially this one, to be in the deal, or else he wasn't going to do the deal. And I didn't want to part with this card, so I wasn't going to do the deal if I had to include it. I actually had a first-year Kaboom Curry PSA 10 that I wanted to include. Like, if I was going to give this, then I wanted to move my Curry with it, and I wanted 10K value for that card. He wasn't willing to do that, so I wasn't willing to include this. There's a little lesson here. So I I didn't do it, but I've always known to possibly pull back your best cards, right? Don't have every single card that you own or all the big cards that you own in your one case. Because when they see it, when these guys you might be trading with, when they see your best stuff or the cards that you don't want to come off of, they might like those cards and they might want those cards in the deal. And if you're unwilling to put them in the deal might fall through. Had these cards not been in my case, he wouldn't have known I had them. We would have worked with what he knew I had, and maybe the deal would have gotten done a little faster, a little smoother. I basically packed up my stuff at one point after about an hour of talking and negotiating and looking up comps. I was ready to leave. I had to go get my son. It took one of his buddies to kind of step in and kind of help facilitate the rest of the deal. What eventually happened was I traded. So we settled on the last comp. The last comp for this Luca was 28K, and it was an auction I think on PWCC or Golden. This has done 44, 60, 66K, all within this past basketball season. That's how much the market has dropped, guys. We're talking at least 40%, if not 50%. Generally, across all sports, all players, we're talking about at least a 40% drop. Now, some of my football cards hadn't necessarily dropped that much because they hadn't gotten so high yet. I didn't have any Mahomes. That's a player that has seen a definite decrease in his value. But the Josh Allens and the Herberts and the Burrows, they haven't necessarily, now Burrows dropped some, but they haven't necessarily gone to a high place enough for them to come down 40%. So essentially what I ended up doing was I ended up trading a Josh Allen Contenders, PSA 10, a Blue Ice Burrow Prism Rookie PSA 10, a Prism Silver Auto Burrow PSA 10, an Orange Prism Burrow PSA 10, and a First Bowman Chrome Otani PSA 10 Auto. That comped out to about 28.5. I threw $500 on top. I got to about 29. So I was about $1,000 over the comp on this. But I was just happy that he was going to give me the last comp. And essentially, essentially I got cash value, full comp cash value on all the cards I traded. Now, granted, they were high-end quarterbacks and Otani. They were all PSA 10s. So that helped. But that was the first deal. I walked out of that show. I walked out of the show Friday on the way to get my kid. Mavericks were playing in Game 3 that night. And was it Game 3? 2? No. 2, sorry. My bad. They were playing in Game 2 in Golden State. So here I am carrying home my big Luca, ready to settle in and watch the Mavericks at Golden State Game 2. They ended up losing, but I don't care. This is a long-term hold. This is a card I'm going to put away and probably never part with until I depart. Let's see. Went back on Saturday, found a table, had this nice Dirk 2005 Topps Chrome Blue X-Fractor. Not necessarily a jersey match, but it's a team blue match. Picked this up for $325. Nice card. Love Dirk. Love the Topps Chrome basketball. So that was a pickup. All right, here's another pickup that I had. This one happened at trade night. So I had this first year Kaboom Curry. It's vertical. He's dunking. PSA 10, gorgeous card. First year Kaboom. And the last one did 92 on bids in December. And so I was telling people I wanted 12 in trade or I think 9 in cash. And everywhere I turned, it was a no. No thanks, no thanks, no thanks. Like the card, just don't want to go that high. Finally, I settled in. I was kind of getting desperate, that feeling when you have this card, you want to move it, but it's a nice card, but you had your sights set on moving it, and then you can sort of kind of get a little bit desperate to move it, which can end up getting in a bad spot. And I almost got in a bad spot with that curry. I offered it to a friend of mine for 6,200 plus a Lamar Jackson field level silver rookie, which would have been about 7K value. He turned that down. He was crazy. He really, really wrestled with that. Matter of fact, later on in the night, he told me he was going to do it, but the card was already gone. So I ended up at trade night seeing this card in a guy's case, and I pulled out my curry. I didn't even open the rest of my stuff. I just had the curry. I said, hey, would you be interested in this? He liked the card a lot. Matter of fact, he said he was going to California the next week, and so, I think that's where I kind of got his attention, like, hey, I could take this curry to California and maybe do well with it. All things being said, I ended up trading that curry at about a 9K value, and then I added $3,800 in cash. That was the biggest cash add that I had at this show, and that put the Mahomes at about 12.8. The last comp was 12, but it wasn't a double 10, and the comps before that were like 14, 16. I think it even got up to maybe 18 before the playoffs. But people aren't coming down on the excuse me, people aren't coming down on the Mahomes. People don't want to go comp for comp on big cards, on big Mahomes cards like this. So the fact that I was able to get near comp and then get 9K value for my curry, I was ecstatic with this trade. So I did pick this up. One of my goals at this show was to get a bunch of Bobby Witt stuff. I love the kid. Like I said, I'm in Dallas. So he played high school baseball here. His dad was a Texas Ranger. I have a son that's 14 that plays travel baseball. And he also likes Bobby Witt a lot. Matter of fact, we played a tournament at Bobby Witt's high school field a couple weeks ago. And all the boys were thrilled to be able to take part in that. So at one point I had 3 of these cards. PSA 10 refractors. I bought them at $3,500 each. And I I traded out of them at $4,500 right before the season started, but before these jumped. These got up to like 6 at one point. I don't know how many sold at 6, but they were definitely up at 6, near 6, maybe even up to 7. Now they're back down. I traded a green Pulsar Josh Allen PSA 10 Prism rookie for it. I was into that Josh Allen for $3,500, so I essentially was able to get back into a Bobby Witt for the same price that I had bought this card prior. I'm not sure what this card necessarily is doing, but it's pretty close to what that green Pulsar Josh Allen is doing. Now, Josh Allen is probably the one guy everybody's looking for, but nobody I get no love on those green Pulsar autos. Matter of fact, somebody was calling them AIDS. That card has AIDS. I guess that's what they're saying when they see a green Pulsar, like it's got AIDS. Green Pulsar is AIDS. Anyway, I was happy to make that trade 1-for-1. That was a really easy deal. I talked to the guy on Instagram about doing it, so I walked up to his table. We exchanged cards, and off I went with this. Let's see. This I picked up just prior to the show, the Atomic. So this isn't really a Dallas Card Show pickup. I guess I just grabbed this to show it because I'm proud of it. Atomic 1099, gorgeous card. This, I ended up, a friend of mine that has a table, a guy came up to his table with this, and he had a Herbert that the guy wanted. Forgot what Herbert it was, but I think this was at a 3K value. But the guy that had the table knew he didn't really want to keep this, so he checked with me. Did I want this and would I trade for it? And I said yes. So he did the swap. I went over to his table, and the deal we made was a Blue Wave Prism Herbert /9, a green Joe Burrow PSA 10 Prism, and what was the third card? Oh, no, what was it? It's on my phone. Oh, shoot, what was it? Oh, I know what it was. It was a Deshaun Watson Silver Prism Rookie PSA 10, and $500. Got me to about 31, I think is where we settled at on this card. I didn't mind getting rid of any of those cards, and was happy to add another Witt. This is the White Speckle. This is a card that doesn't get a lot of love. It tends to do less than the Refractory, even though this is out of $2.99. The Refractor's out of $4.99. The collectors just prefer the Refractor. But like I said, I'm a huge Bobby Witt fan, so I want to pick up pretty much any of the first Bowman autos that I can. And that brings me to the last deal. So I saw a case at the show that had a couple PSA 10s of this blue first Bowman Bobby Witt Jr. auto. I asked the guy, there wasn't a lot of Witt stuff out. I think people weren't in him pretty high and not wanting to have to compete with the recent comps. I mean, a kid came out and he's hitting 215. He's turned it on lately. They put him back at shortstop. He's hitting third in the lineup. So they hired a new hitting coach, fired their old one. And he's hit 4 bombs. I think he hit 2 or 3 in the past week. So he's figuring some things out. I believe him long term, no problem. I'm glad that he dipped and I was able to get back in. But the guy that had the blue PSA 10s wanted 11 or 12K. The last comp on that card was 10.9. And I figured at a show, if you're doing cash, it would be around 10. I didn't have any cash really to throw in, but I had quarterbacks, and he said he wanted football, but I just wasn't willing to go as high as 12 for a card that just did 10.9. Plus that Tiger Luca had kind of made a dent in my quarterbacks. So I found a guy I know, and his son, Tom Santos. Shout out to you, Tom. He and his son Tyler. Tyler was actually one of the guy that helped me kind of close the Tiger Luca deal. But they had 2 of these. They bought them right. I think in Vegas they bought these right before the season started, and he said they were in these between 10 and 11. At one point, the PSA 10 blue was doing like 19. So anyway, we got a value at this on this at about 6,700, I believe. No, 6,900, I believe. And that was based on a BGS. That was based on a PSA 10 sale and a BGS or a PSA 9 sale. We kind of figured out. We kind of did the math on it because there hasn't been a 9.5 that has sold. And this isn't a true gem, but it does have a 10. So it's a gem min plus. On this card, I gave a green crystals prism Josh Allen 10, valued that at about 4, and then a light blue Justin Herbert PSA 10 prism, valued that at about 2,900. So we came in at 69. I was really, really wanting a blue Bobby Witt. Didn't know how I was going to do it, but didn't have to throw any cash in that deal, and to only have to come off a couple cards, I was ecstatic. And I guess finally this card right here. Now this card is a gem, a true gem plus, I think, because a true gem would be all 9.5s, and a true gem plus would have a 10. Yeah. The difference between the min gems that have a 9 and the true gems or even the true gem pluses is about $1,000. I think the hobby is finally starting to put a bigger premium on the difference between the min gem and then the true gem pluses. So I traded into this at 4. The PSA 10s are doing about 62 to 65. For this, I gave a pink Josh Allen non-auto Prism 10 at about 18. I did a Nolan Ryan, Craig Biggio, Roger Clemens Immaculate triple patch, but the Nolan Ryan had a laundry tag, which is really cool. Valued that at 7. Thought that was a smidge low, but it was what it was. And then a Amari Cooper flawless horizontal patch auto rookie. So I did that at 3. So, and then I added 1,600. So the Josh Allen was 17. The 16 made it 33. And then the Amari made it 36. I guess I only got about 400 or 500 for the Immaculate Baseball. Either way you slice it, I was happy with the deal. I didn't want to have to come off the full like 62 to 65K for the PSA 10. So I did it. I did the poor man's route. I traded into half of this, and it's a BGS 9.5. So definitely a lot easier on the pocketbook. I think the BGS 9.5s are going to start getting a little bit hotter because they're half price of the PSA 10s. And if you can get a card that is half price because of the slab that it's in the next months as we face a looming recession and the hobby maybe continues to dip, I think the PSA 10s are going to start coming down a little more, and these are going to be a better pickup just because they're cheaper. And if you can get one that's a True Gem or a True Gem Plus, even better. And that's why I think you're going to see more premium on the True Gem and the True Gem Pluses. As far as where I see it, love the show. A+++, always is. So blessed to be in Dallas and be able to go to this show every other month. But as where I see the state of the hobby, it's in flux, just like everything else. People that want to trade into bigger cards, if you can add a little cash, I think it's going to go a long way. So if you can do that, save up a little cash. But if you're paying full cash for something, I would expect to be receiving a pretty nice deal on a card, especially if it's over $3,000 or $4,000. Yeah, so I had a great show. Met some great people, saw some old friends, had a blast, and I can't wait till the next show. Don't know where the hobby's going to be. It's going to be, I think, right before National, right up against football season. But I'll be there, and I know a lot of you guys will too. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.